Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans.
Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by.
Now, here's JP.
Hearty good morning to you on this beautiful Tuesday here at the JP Peterson Show. We got so much to get into today. I'm very excited about today's show. We got issues with the Bolts. We have got issues with your Tampa Bay Lightning that we need to discuss. Hard conversations to have, but we need to have them. You know, it's all good families. Sometimes there has to be a little bit of shakeup, and that time may be coming for your Tampa Bay Lightning. Bucs free agency is upon us. Scott Reynolds going to join us at 10:30 from the Pewter Report. TJ Reeves will also join us to talk some Bucs free agency. What's going on with Mike Evans? Starting to get a queasy feeling on that as well. And we also have some Rays stuff that we need to talk about. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, and Ken Hagan jumped on with us yesterday a little bit about the Rays' new ballpark. But I definitely have some thoughts on the uncomfortable feeling that Stu Sternberg is having. I guess when, good morning to you, Tim Ham, by the way, from our Dallas affiliate with your broken nose. We're going to get to that story here in just a moment as well. Oh, my God.
Good morning.
But, rant on the way for my friend Stu Sternberg. How are you? Not good, huh?
I'm playing injured today, man. I'm fighting through it. The concussion's probably the worst part of all of it, but the nose.
Concussion.
Yeah, the
You're
nose
concussed?
I can deal with. This, yeah, we'll get into it later, but I'm concussed for sure. Concussed and doctor diagnosed concussion. And
Wow, this could be a really good show then.
doctor diagnosed my 18th career broken nose.
18th.
18th.
How do you
career.
have 18 broken noses?
Man, I played a lot of hockey and a lot of basketball as a kid.
Wow.
And a teenager. And young adult.
Wow.
So this is recorded number 18, like on my medical record, number 18.
I think that's more than Larry Zonka.
Probably.
I think he had the record. I think the Zonk had the record. Oh. All right. Well, I guess we'll look forward to that story a little bit later on as well. Yeehaw. All right. So wanted to begin today with your Tampa Bay Lightning. Last night they fall 4-2 to the Ottawa Senators, and this is on the heels of a 9-2 spanking by the Florida Panthers. And this 2 games does not a season make. Obviously, 2 games does not a slump make. But last night, and we'll hear from John Cooper here and a couple of the players in just a second. John Cooper used the word flat and no emotion. Which is kind of what we've seen from this team this year. This game reminded me a lot of the early season games where they just, careless passing, giving up 2-on-1s, giving up goals on the rush again. Matthew Joseph, former Bolt, has 2 goals last night just using his incredible speed. And it's like, what's going on with this team? At some points, they just go flat and they play with no emotion. And, it just, another word came to mind today to me, stale. This team looks stale to me. And it's, why is that? Kucherov notwithstanding. And last night, Kuch had his scoring streak broken, I think, I want to say 14 games, maybe less than that. I think he had 18 points in the last 9 games. Anyway, he's obviously leading the league. He's had a phenomenal season. He is not stale at all. He is playing his ass off. The rest of the team just feels like they're kind of going through the motions a little bit. And last night was I think, Exhibit A. You're going to have clunkers like you do against the Panthers, who are, right now playing better hockey than anybody in the league. They are playing the best hockey. They're the hottest team. They're the best team in hockey right now. And that switches, right? There's an ebb and flow to the season. But right now, yeah, and when you face a team like that and you give up a couple and you start to hang your head a little bit, that's what's going to happen. 9-2, 9 unanswered goals. That's going to happen. They're going to be clunkers, but you can't also just erase it. You can't just erase it and go, okay. There's reasons why they scored 9 goals in a row. And a lot of it has to do with indifference on the defensive end, leaving guys wide open at the back door. They had some bad puck luck. But Ottawa, the bottom team in the Atlantic, and I know they've played better since they've changed coaches. They're one of the faster teams, but they're still 30th in the league in defense. They're 30th in the penalty kill. You didn't even get a power play last night because, frankly, you didn't earn it. You didn't earn it. You weren't dangerous enough. They had 14 high danger chances. The Lightning had 8. I'm trying to remember the 8. There was just, the first, I thought they came out with great energy. You wanted to say, okay, look, you lose to the Panthers 9-2. Vasi's coming back with a vengeance. He rarely loses 2 games in a row. And the Lightning obviously are part of that, right? The defensive core, they always bounce back. And you're against the last place team, you're thinking, okay, here's a nice spot to hang a little 5-1 on them, right? No, it doesn't happen. And you go out and you outshoot them 6-1 early on. Okay, so you didn't score. Then they get one on a great play by Stützle, by the way. Great, just absolutely abused Lilleberg on the boards, and then forgot who it was in front, did him dirty too, and just roofed it. Just a great shot. But you can't be skating through 2 guys. Take him out. Take the body. Do something. Eliminate the player. He's dangerous. And you can't just let him walk in and toe drag and, like he's at an all-star, like an NBA all-star game. I mean, we come on. There's got to be a price to be paid. And that's maybe where the emotion comes in. So and look, this is an incredibly talented team. They have a championship pedigree. This is a team that can play better than this. They know that. They know that. And I don't think there's a player on this team or anybody in the organization that would have a major disagreement with what I'm saying. But it's, nobody really wants to say it out loud a lot of times, although Cooper did last night. But I think that the part is, does there need to be change? Yes, there needs to be change. And right now, there's an opportunity for Brisebois to do that. He's got $8.6 million in cap room. And I would be absolutely shocked, floored, dismayed if he doesn't do something in a major way. I think there's a major change coming to this team. I don't mean trading Stamkos. I don't mean, Kucherov's not going anywhere. I don't mean change, but I think there's going to be an addition or 2 that's going to raise some eyebrows. And there may be some subtractions that raise those same eyebrows. I don't think it's going to be the major, the Hall of Fame guys. It's not going to be those guys. But there could be some guys moved that maybe you're not expecting because this team needs fire. It needs emotion. There's nobody, I don't see anybody in that room that is, a crap starter, like a Pat Maroon, like a Corey Perry. These are the guys that were, when they're flat, these are the guys that stir the pot. And I'm not saying that they needed to hang on to them, but if you're going to get rid of them, you kind of need to bring somebody in that's going to add that fire. And I think I would be shocked if Brisebois is not looking. So when he's looking for players, I think that has to be a very, very important part of the list of characteristics on that player, if not at the top of the list, because they're just stale. I don't know if you watched any of the game last night, Tim, but
no, I did. And the question I had for you, JP, and I didn't watch other than last night because I knew we'd be talking about it today. Is there a specific line or 2 lines that are underperforming during this little stretch that we're talking about? Does there just need to be a line shakeup, moving some guys around, pairing some other guys with some other guys rather than a complete roster shakeup?
I think Coop's tried all that. He moves them around pretty good. I think he's tried every different combination he can. I mean, the bottom 6 is not producing like we need them to produce. There's no question about that. I think Kucherov has 35 more points than the next guy. Wow. I mean, it's very lopsided. And when Kuch, last night he had 5 shots, 2 missed the net, 3 were blocked. So no shots on goal, which is shocking, especially this year. And so when he doesn't do something, you score 2 goals and you look flat. You can't, it's one of those things, there are certain players in the league. You see this sometimes in college basketball, but you see it sometimes in basketball and hockey that are so dominant that the other players are kind of just, you get so used to Cooch making plays, you just sit around waiting for him to make a play. Come on, guys, you're getting paid too. Let's go.
Just watch a Dallas Mavericks basketball game sometime.
Exactly.
It looks like everybody's staring at Luka waiting for him to do something.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, come on, guys. You can play too. You got ice time. Make a move. Do something. Let's go. Let's go.
They're all wearing skates.
Yeah. I mean, okay, 86 isn't out there right now. Maybe somebody needs to do something. Even when he's out there. Okay, let's go. You guys can do something too. Yeah. So I think maybe there's a little bit of that going on. So it just seems stale for me right now. And I think, I don't think Breeze Bois can come to any other conclusion that there needs to be an infusion of some personality, some pop, some character, not that there's, and it's a great high character team. Don't get me wrong. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just, a guy that has, the gravitas that can come in, an Andrechuk, a Savard, these type of additions that come in, Corey Perry and Pat Maroon, when they were added to the group, these guys come in and they stir the pot. They will, they'll fire it up. And I don't really see a lot of that right now. So listen, this team is supremely talented. Are they in a lull? I think, this 2-game lull is kind of symptomatic of what we've seen. That, obviously they went on a run before the break and they ripped off 3 in a row. This is a very talented team, but it's just consistency. Playing with that emotion and that just desperation every single night. You're still the Tampa Bay Lightning. You're going to get everybody's best. Everybody's coming for you. They're used to that. That's nothing new. But, they've in the past, they've always met it with that requisite intensity that they need to continue to play at an elite level. And I think this season that's been missing a little bit. So I'll be very interested to see what Breeze Bois does with this group, with the opening that they have now. And his MO is not to tiptoe through the trade deadline. Now, he doesn't have the first-round pick ammunition that he used to have, but he's got players. He's got some prospects that they brought up this year, some defensemen that I think other teams would covet. So we'll see. But I think there's going to be we're going to hit the Twitter machine, or something's going to come in my email and it's going to be big. So nice. We'll see. So let's kind of get back to last night and let's hit the post game. We've got 3 interviews here. Mitchell Chafee, who scored last night, was a bright spot. Young player, got his second goal last night, starting to make his presence felt a little bit. And Victor Hedman, and then we'll hear from Coop as well.
So the Panthers, you guys had talked about the response. Does that make this loss even more disappointing?
Yeah, I think so. I think we started how we wanted to, and then we had a little slump in the middle. I think it cost us a little bit. I thought we got back to it later in the game, but in this league, even you take a little bit of time off, and they're going to score a few goals. So,
John Cooper talked about the speed of this team. Did you notice it out there?
Yeah, we talked about it, that they're going to transition very well, and that's exactly what they did.
You mentioned to me about puck management. Was that just need to be better in this game?
Yeah, I thought, they transitioned very well, so it just proves that you need to be placing pucks behind them and making their D turn. And I thought we did better later in the game, but I thought there were spurts in the game where we needed to get back to that.
So you get your goal to make it 3-1. Did you like the response, or did you need a better response after getting back to within 2?
Yeah, I thought our team was responding really well later in the second. I thought that we were doing what we wanted to do, and I thought later in the game, even, I thought throughout the third and stuff, we definitely had our chances, and it's just capitalizing on those.
It seemed like you got a lot of ice time in this game. Where's your game at, here in a couple of weeks, past couple of weeks?
I feel like it's trending upward. I think this coaching staff has a lot of trust in me, and I think I've kind of built that, and I'm just going to keep trying to play my game and take advantage of the ice time that he's giving me.
Back-to-back days with potential practices for your team. Do you think that that's good, or are you looking to get back out there and play again?
Yeah, I think obviously after these 2 losses, you're looking back to getting back in the win column immediately, but I think we're going to take these 2 days and really bear down and focus and bring our next game.
Victor, relatively strong starts in this game and the last game, but you guys couldn't sustain it. Why?
Yeah, like I said, we had a good start, had a lot of good looks. Then to score the first one, we deflated a little bit, and we tried, but we second period, 25 shot attempts, only 8 hit the net. So that's a big issue, obviously, and give up 4 goals and 4 goals off the rush. So yeah, back to work tomorrow and figure it out.
Victor, you say you guys deflated a little bit. That happened a lot early in the season, but it hadn't been there lately. Is there any reason why it's kind of crept back in here?
I don't know. We're not in a part of the season where that can happen, so we just got to figure that out right away. And we've come a long way, and these last 2 games have been a step backwards. So we just got to make sure that we stop the bleeding now and don't feel sorry for ourselves because it's too late in the season for that. So we just got to take the bull by the horn and get back to work tomorrow.
You mentioned coming off of Saturday's game looking for the right response. Result aside, did you get the right response?
I mean, we need points, and we time of the season, and we had a push, but it's a little too late, and preventable goals too, and it's just tough one to swallow. But we got 2 days here with good practices to figure it out and get ready for Wash.
John Cooper mentioned negating their speed a little bit. Does that start with puck management?
100%, and super fast team, and they burned us a couple of times, obviously today. So it's. You play a team like that, you got to get pucks deep and let them go 200 feet. So, if you turn pucks over, they're going to go quickly the other way, and that was evident today.
Wanting a good response tonight, I mean, what did you think about maybe the way that you guys responded tonight?
Well, I thought we responded well for 9 minutes and 15 seconds. And anyway, we spent the first 10 minutes of the period in their end and had a whole bunch of moments that, rose the heart rate, and they didn't go in. And then as soon as they got that first one, that we were just flat. And, maybe it's remnants from what happened the other night, but just everything changed after that, and we just couldn't quite get it back, especially after they, went up 2. And that was the disappointing part of the night, is that, there's a ton of game left, and we were just flat, or there was no emotion. And so that was the disappointing part, for me, after what I thought was a good response in the first 10 minutes.
How tough is that to see, especially given what you've talked about all along, is that you guys are in a need here for...
Yeah, well, that's the disappointing, because you can't get this back. I mean, there goes an opportunity to get points, and everybody around you won today, and you didn't. And so we can't be doing this: win 1, lose 1, win 2, lose 2. That's it's not going to get it done for us. And so it was the fact that we'd been playing some pretty good hockey for some time, and then we're back to, we just gave them their opportunities. And if you're going to give the 2-on-1s, or you turn the puck over and do those things that we did, these good fast teams are going to get you, and they got us tonight. So a lot of that was on us.
There's you heard it from all 3 of them. I thought Hedman's comments were very interesting. It's like, ask about the response after a 9-2 loss. He's like, we need to get points. So, it doesn't matter how you come out. It doesn't matter, whether you push back. It matters whether you get 2 points against the last place team in the Atlantic. You can't let these things slip away, because we all know when it comes down to the last few games, this is going to be a nail biter. Right now, they're in the wild card, the last wild card. They're 1 point up on Detroit. They're 3 behind Toronto. Every one of these games is huge. Now, do they have the advantage of an easier schedule down the stretch? They do. But still, you got to go out. This is one of those games where you're supposed to win. You're at home. You're coming off 9-2. Where are you? Get it done. You're not an ascending team. You're a team that should be playing its best hockey right now, and you're not.
They even sounded flat in the interviews. It's just like that's almost like a mindset going around the locker room. Even Cooper sounded kind of like defeated. And he kind of sounds like that all the time. But
yeah. It just, I could come back to that word, Tim. Stale. It just feels like it needs a little some juice. These guys need some juice. And, when you've won as much as they have, this is natural. This is human nature. So, and I don't think there's anybody in the league that's better than John Cooper at sensing these things and making something happen, whether it's the changing of lines, but I'm sure he and Brisebois are cooking up something. And I think they understand exactly where they're at. Here's the thing. When you've won as much as they have, when you've won 2 cups and you've been to all these finals, you know what the recipe is. You're tasting that thing and you're going, something's missing. I know what this is supposed to taste like. Something's missing. Somebody go get a bunch of Corey Perry and pour this crap in here, or whoever it's going to be. We need something that's going to make this stuff pop, and it's not popping right now. It's not, and and you've got a lot of good ingredients in that pot, man. You got a lot of good stuff. But I don't know if you're a cook, Tim. I think you are, and I am as well. Yeah. And I don't cook by recipe. I cook by taste. I'm constantly tasting that thing. And these guys know what it tastes supposed to taste like. Yeah. And right now it's stale. It needs some pop. And to make all the rest of those ingredients work, you got to have that little secret ingredient, whatever's missing, you get that brings it all together that makes it go boom. And right now, there's no boom. There's no boom.
It looks bad, man. It looks bad on the ice. Last night I was watching it again. I don't watch a ton of Rays hockey unless they're playing the Stars
or Lightning hockey. We'll get to the Rays in a
you know what? I made that mistake on my show the other day.
You're concussed, bro. You're concussed. What? I have no excuse for making those mistakes.
Of Lightning hockey.
Yeah,
unless they're playing the Stars or the Habs. I'm not watching it. But, it's just, man, watching last night, this reminds me of a really bad Stars team that I used to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, a couple comments here before we move on to some of the Rays stuff I wanted to get to in the first part. James says, JP, sure, Bolts have had their moments, but for the most part, they've been underperforming all year. Without something from GM, if they make the playoffs, it will be an early exit again. I would agree with that. The excuse last year was the Lightning were tired from all the playoff runs. Now this, but when you lose the quality of players and don't replace them adequately, this is what you end up with. And as he mentions here, it's the cap. Unfortunately, the NFL cap always goes up. The NHL cap does not, because TV deals are not that lucrative. You end up developing the talent and eventually losing most of them. Yep, that's the cycle in the NHL. And that's why when you have such a sustained run that the Lightning have had, it's unusual. It is unusual, and it's very hard to do in this league. The turnover of champions, you go from 7th, 8th place to Stanley Cup champions in a heartbeat. We saw St. Louis do it. We saw Florida do it, for God's sakes. Florida, didn't make the playoffs, for God's sakes. They need a miracle on the last day, and they damn near won the cup.
And you get first-year expansion teams that compete.
Yes.
Look at Vegas and Seattle. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's it's interesting. And there's a long way to go in this season. So I'm kind of jazzed about it, to be honest with you. I think there's going to be some major changes, and then we'll see what they, Coop put it all together and see them make a run. I think, get your popcorn ready, because I think something fun's going to happen. All right, I got to get to talked a little bit about this yesterday, Timmy, but I'm going to hit it a little bit more because I'm in studio today. Stu Sternberg this past weekend was on FanFest and was on with J and Z on WDAE, the home of the Rays. I say that because, I understand what happens to you on that station if you criticize Stu Sternberg. You start your own podcast.
Oh, is it one of those? Oh, no.
Well, you don't get ratings bonus checks and get fired unless, somebody somebody that with a lot of power says, I really don't like that guy talking about me that way, talking the truth about how much money I'm making and everything that's going on with the Rays. I mean, we're trying to put out this propaganda here, and here comes this dude, bringing up facts and all the truths. We can't have that around here. All right. Yeah. You're our media partner. We can't have anybody on that station literally telling everybody that we are actually making tons of money. So yeah, bye-bye. Allegedly. So he tells them that the team payroll, which will perhaps surpass 90 million for the first time, is, quote, uncomfortable. And as a result, the team will, quote, be in the negative territory on the profit and loss page. Take a deep breath here. Are you effing kidding me? Are you effing kidding me? You have made, on the backs of this market, by the way, my friend, that you have done nothing but disparage, saying it's not an MLB market. St. Pete will never be an MLB city. It'll never work in St. Pete until you give me $1.2 billion of public money. Then I'm going to love St. Pete. Oh, that's great. You're getting $1.2 billion of public money, not right into your pockets, but eventually it'll find its way there probably in some form or fashion. You put in reportedly $50 million of $200 million to buy the Rays some 15 years ago. It is now worth at least 1.5, probably closer to $2 billion. And according to the lawsuit, you took out $500 million and put it into another company that you solely control, according to the lawsuit, which was that was sworn testimony in that lawsuit in order to get those. Anyway, the allegations in the lawsuit, that was sworn testimony. It's not just allegations by a bunch of partners. So these are by punishment of perjury. They have to put these things out there. And it's all documented in the lawsuit if you go look at it, which is still ongoing, by the way. The man has made over $1.5 billion in profit. And you want to sit there and tell me that your profit and loss sheet this year is going to be uncomfortable? You've made $1.5 billion while people can't put freaking dinner on the table, while people can't pay their freaking rent, that you want to go out there and buy tickets. You're going to sit there in front of a mic and say you're uncomfortable making $1 billion. Shut the F up. Be somewhat self-aware. For God's sakes, what's going on in this country right now? You sit there and say you're uncomfortable. Really, Stu, you're uncomfortable? And please, if you don't know this, folks, any business can show a profit or loss any way they want to do it, no whether they want to cook the books. And there are a few people that are better at cooking the books than the business of baseball. Okay, folks? That's how all businesses do it. But you want to talk about profit and loss, and I call holy BS on the fact that you're going to lose money this year. Why? Because that after you pay yourself $10 million in management fees, allegedly. Are you serious? Your revenues are well over $300 million with the money you get, with the money you took up front from your annual local TV deal, which was reportedly over $85 million. That's part of the $500 million that went into this new company, allegedly, according to the lawsuit. You're going to sit there and say you're uncomfortable that you might lose money. Oh, Stu's going to lose money this year, Timmy. Stu's going to lose money. Oh,
no,
let's start a GoFundMe. Should we start a GoFundMe?
He's not
and maybe we can make sure that he doesn't get put in the poorhouse. I mean, I hope he's able to pay the rent on those $1 million homes that he has.
Where's he going to live?
Guy. I don't know. There's no affordable housing in St. Pete.
No.
Where's he going to go? I'm so sad for him.
He would live in St. Pete.
He's uncomfortable with a $90 million payroll. Good thing he doesn't own the Dodgers. I mean, are you kidding me?
How are smart people so stupid?
Me? Uncomfortable. We'll be well into negative territory on the profit and loss page. The $1 billion plus that he's made off this team is not enough. It's not enough. I need more. Let me get $1.2 billion out of the city of St. Pete. Then I won't be as uncomfortable. I'll be a little bit more comfortable. Okay? So feel sorry for me. I'm uncomfortable.
That's just a poor choice of words anyway. Uncomfortable.
Yeah.
What's the worst possible choice of words?
And it's just like, are you kidding me? And by the way, the obvious, $90 million payroll is peanuts in this business, bro. Peanuts. You know why? Because they get $50, $60, $70 million in revenue sharing, reportedly, the central fund money. I mean, the revenues are well over $300 million. With a $90 million, it's uncomfortable. I know. What am I going to do with the rest of the $200 million? Pay the light bill. You know how much the light bill is at Tropicana Field? Oh, my God. All right, we got to get to Scott Reynolds here. Quick break. Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Well, we'll take a quick break. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Scott Jeeves rightly predicted that the FSU lawsuit will produce a settlement. Looks like that's happening, but call Scott Jeeves. He will take care of you. His army of attorneys over there will take care of you in any way you need and give you that personal attention. Big enough to fight the big insurance companies, but small enough to make you important. That's the Jeeves Law Group. Back with Scott Reynolds of the Pewter Report. We're going to talk some Bucs in 3 minutes. Stay with us. JP here for my friends at your local Synovus Bank, and I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta, big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation, and that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get-acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to synovus.com to find out where your local branch is. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson, so if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com. or call 813-485-6808.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. The great Chris Lugo will get you right with your immune system, with your nutrition, with your testosterone, which forgot to give myself my shot. I gotta get self-inflict my testosterone shot here. Sometimes you just forget. But whatever you need, Bay Area Modern Medical Center is there for personalized medicine. Folks, if you're not getting personalized medicine, you're not doing it right. BAMMC.com. All right, let's bring in a happy customer of Bay Area Modern Medical Center, the great Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report. How you doing, my friend?
Doing good. Tea for Tuesday,
yeah.
JP. That's how you remember. See?
Tea for Tuesday. For testosterone.
Yeah.
I should have put that together. It's tea day.
It's tea day.
And I don't mean taco.
Right. For me, it's Wednesday. I do my shots on Wednesday.
Well, and by so many people are like, "Wow, you give yourself a shot?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Doesn't hurt.
The needles are.
So I'm deathly afraid of needles. Like I pass out when I see a needle, and I was forced to give myself shots for a little while, and it did not go well. You give them to you give them to yourself in the butt or the thigh? What's
Thigh.
your point of contact? Okay.
Thigh.
I go backside.
For me.
I go backside.
Do you?
I tried both. I couldn't get comfortable with either.
I'm more flexible than you, Scott.
Well, yeah, of course you. Yeah, there's no doubt.
It's better when you have a
I can see where
beautiful
the
young
comments
lady
are
in the
going
house to
is.
give it to you.
Yeah.
He likes it in the backside. All right. All right.
Tim, sorry about the nose, but I imagine the other guy looks worse, right?
Well, we'll get
Are
to
we gonna
that
get the
here
story now?
shortly.
I didn't get the story. Yeah.
I'd like to.
Dan has a broken nose.
What?
Yeah, I'd like to offer that theory that the other guy looks worse, but we'll save that. We'll tease that.
Was it a fight? You keep putting it off. The fans want to know.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
We'll talk about some more important things like Bucs free agency. So the Monday deadline came and went, and no deal for Mike Evans or Baker Mayfield. That's not unexpected, but
Correct.
it will cost the Bucs a little bit on the salary cap. Now they can massage it down the road. But it is what it is. But I think the major feeling is here, and I think you guys have reported this as well, that the Bucs and Mike Evans are not very close in terms of negotiations. What are your thoughts? Where is this at right now?
Yeah, I mean, you have to remember a couple of things. Number one, there has yet to be, since 2014, a free agent that has hit the market that the Buccaneers wanted back that didn't come back. Jason Light, Mike Greenberg, their track record is impeccable. They keep the players that they want to keep. They have not lost a guy. I think the only guy they really wanted back was Russell Shepard back in the day. And that's just because he was like a really good special teams guy.
Yeah.
He wasn't even a starter, right?
Right.
They would have liked to have had Nacho back, Raheem Nunez-Roches, as a depth piece, but every starter that they've allowed to hit free agency,
main starter,
they've gotten back. Okay. And so let's start there. Number two, the Buccaneers over the last 2 years have allowed 3 big name starters on the defensive side to hit free agency. I'm talking about Carlton Davis 2 years ago, Jamel Dean, and Levante David last year.
Yeah.
And the market was not as robust for those 3 players as those 3 players expected it to be.
Yeah, the agents did. Okay.
Right. So the Buccaneers played a little game of chicken, right? And they got those players back cheaper than they would have otherwise if they had made the first move and signed them to the deal that those players had thought they were worth. So having said that, when you marry those two concepts, if you let Baker Mayfield and you let Mike Evans test the market, at the worst case scenario, which is they receive a huge offer from another team, they'll bring that back to Jason Light because both Baker and Mike have exceptional relationships with Jason Light, with Todd Bowles, with Mike Greenberg, the Bucs assistant GM, capologist. And at least Tampa Bay will have an opportunity to look at that offer and say, we will match it, come back, or they'll have a chance to pass. So the issue with Mike Evans, and I know that's the hot button topic, right? Because he is Mr. Buccaneer. He is the franchise guy on the offensive side of the ball. Probably, actually, he will be the first Buccaneer offensive player inducted into the Hall of Fame, joining the likes of 5 defensive players, including Tony Dungy, defensive line head coach. With Evans, he's probably going to fetch around $25 million per year, maybe a little bit more.
No.
But the thing is this. There is not a player, because if you look at the Cooper Kupp deal, which I think it's $26 million, and even DeAndre Hopkins, all of those receivers right now that have, set this market, if you will. And, and I'll pull it up right here just so I'm talking intelligently. Obviously, Tyreek Hill, he's exceptional. He's making $30 million per year. Devontae Adams is making 28. Cooper Kupp is making 26.7. AJ Brown making 25. All of those players signed those deals before the age of 30. So Mike Evans is in a little bit of uncharted waters here.
Yeah.
And 30 is kind of that magical age where teams and also running backs, they're like, that's when the hamstring issues flare up. It's when you notice the speed decrease, the big plays go down. Now, Mike had a robust year at age 30. There's no doubt about it.
Huge.
But nobody, including Mike, including, Jason Light. They can't predict when that drop off is going to occur. When Mike will no longer be 1,000-yard receiver, he'll be an 800-yard receiver or a 750. Right? That's going to happen at some point in time.
Yep.
And so there is that element right there. Mike will be 31 in August before the start of the season. That's 2 or 3 years younger, or I should say older.
Yeah.
Than guys like Adams and Kupp and even Tyreek Hill.
And that's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, especially at the end of your career, those 2 or 3 years matter more than they do if you're 25 or 27, right? When you're 30, 31, that's different than 25, 27. So that's a big thing. Okay, well then why don't you use the franchise tag on Mike or Baker Mayfield? Why are you going to use it on Antoine Winfield Jr.?
Kills your cap. You can't spread it out.
Yeah. It's a static number that can't be lowered
Massaged.
in that given year. Massaged, right? So for Baker Mayfield, the quarterback number is $36.293 million.
Not doable.
Okay? Not doable. Right, because that completely inhibits your ability to be flexible and sign free agents. It gobbles up so much cap room. Now you say, okay, well, why not use it for Mike Evans? The franchise tag number for wide receivers is just over $20 million. It's 20.672. And if you're telling me that Mike could fetch 25, well, that seems like a bargain, right? Yes, in theory, that works out perfectly. The problem is this. There's a rule that says if your cap value from the previous year is higher than the franchise tag number, and that's the case with Mike. Mike's cap value last year was $23.698 million. Okay, so just under $24 million.
Yeah.
Then Mike's cap number will be 120% of the franchise tag number. So that pushes Mike's own franchise tag number now. Exactly. It's a caveat. So that pushes Mike Evans' franchise tag number to $28.4 million. That's a huge difference between 20.6 and 28.4. It's a complete no-go. And on top of that, if we're saying Mike could fetch $25 million on the open market, well, then you're essentially paying him $3 million more, actually closer to $4 million more.
Yeah.
With the franchise tag than you would with a long-term deal. And with the long-term deal, you can massage that number and lower that first-year cap number down and create even more and have more flexibility.
Yeah.
It's not as cost prohibitive in terms of that static number being $36 million for Baker.
Right. Yeah.
But $28 million. Then you look at Antoine Winfield Jr.'s franchise tag number, it's $16 million. So that's why Winfield's getting the franchise tag, is because his franchise tag number is $16 million.
It's the lowest of the bunch.
Exactly. $12 million less than Evans and $20 million less than Mayfield.
Yeah. Well, the math works out there. And, yesterday we were talking a little bit about Mike, and I said, listen, it sucks for everybody. But if Mike is at this point of his career, if he wants to chase the money and go to Houston, it's a very competitive team, his hometown team, who can fault him for that?
Right.
Nobody. Yep. I mean, it is what it is. He's done. And I'm here to say that next year I'm going to miss him.
Yeah.
At age 32, at $26 million a year,
right.
I might not miss him. At age 34, at $26 million a year, I'm definitely not going to miss him.
You're right.
So
and it will actually be more than that, because if he does sign a 3-year deal, he's not going to be hitting the cap for $26 million this year. It's going to be closer to $20 million or maybe even 18.
Yeah.
And then that means that difference is going to be higher cap numbers when he's, like you said, 32.
It's all on the back end. Yeah, that's how they do that to save money. They put it on the back end. Yeah.
Exactly. And the other thing, too, that we have to consider is that yes, the Buccaneers would take a step back in terms of scoring and offense, and it would not make Baker Mayfield the happiest cat in the world. At the same time, though, it does free up about $25 million that you would have had otherwise, that maybe you can go out, and now you're in the market for a Brian Burns or a Daniil Hunter or some
And there
big
are
time
other
edge rusher.
receivers out there in the draft. And
This is a very, very wide receiver rich draft. And we've seen Jason Light double up and flood the position before, right? You go back to 2015, he drafted 2 offensive linemen in the second round, Donovan Smith and Ali Marpet. Last year, he drafted 2 outside linebackers, Jose Ramirez in the final round and Yaya Diaby in the third. So this is one of those drafts. If you do lose Mike Evans in free agency, you probably draft a wide receiver in the first round, and you might come back in the third or fourth round and get another one just to kind of stockpile that position and hedge your bets.
And the bottom line is this a better team with Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield? Absolutely.
No doubt.
But it's not a Tom Brady situation where you just throw caution to the wind and you just start loading. You bring everybody back and you push all the money into the future and just say, screw it. We're just going all in, because Baker's not that guy. He's not that guy. So
there's a line in the sand with Baker that you feel comfortable saying, okay, you're good enough, right? Where if we don't have Baker, we're taking a big step back, right? We're acknowledging that. Everybody's acknowledging that. But you don't, and he's well within his right to say, I deserve Daniel Jones money at $40 million. Well, here's the news flash. Daniel Jones ain't worth $40 million.
Exactly. That's the thing. Yeah. And his agent's going to say, well, everybody, that doesn't make it right.
Exactly. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. And we don't want to make that same mistake. So, in the end, and I think what you brought up about relationships is really, really huge. And it's important here because it is not just a relationship. It's the culture that has been developed here in Tampa Bay by the Glazers, by Jason Light. Everybody wants to play here. And Mike Evans, do you think Mike wants to stay here? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you think Baker wants to stay here?
Yes.
Absolutely. They want to be here. But, they also are not going to, leave 20, 30, $40 million on the table. They're not doing that, and nor should they.
Well, and if I can just stop you for 1 second about Baker, this is really, really important to know because there are 2 sides to this coin.
Right.
On one hand, he played last year for about $7 million, $4 million in base salary, then with the incentives about $7 million. The average starting quarterback makes about $20 million. So in Baker's mind, he's got to kind of recover that $13 million. Like your window, your earnings window is only open for so long when you enter the league and then when you leave, right? And it's not like a profession like mine where this is my 29th year covering the Buccaneers for Pewter Report. Rarely do you have guys play as old as Tom Brady or Rondé Barber. Right. They are the unicorns. Usually the average length of an NFL player's career is 3 years. Yeah. So for Baker, in his mind, he's got to kind of recover that $13 million. Then, if the reports are accurate, there was an investment scheme that he fell victim to where he lost $12 million of his previous earnings. So 13 plus 12, it's $25 million worth of revenue that in his mind, he probably needs to recover. Who knows when things get litigated if you're actually going to receive the money or not.
Right, exactly.
So you're right, JP. It is a thing where, wow, if the Bucs are offering 30 or 32 and he gets an offer for 40, that's an average of $8 million, not just in 1 year, but if it's over 4 years, now you're talking $32 million, right? That's huge. That's a lot of money, okay, to turn down. Now, the other side of the coin is Baker got jettisoned by the place that made him the face of the franchise when they picked him number 1 overall, right? So ultimately they said, we don't want you. Carolina said, we don't want you. The Rams didn't re-sign him, and they said, we don't want you. The Buccaneers wanted him. He has been either waived or traded or cut or not re-signed in 3 other spots. This is a team that wants him. Baker's going to turn 29 in April.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How long is that earnings window open? 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years? Probably 6 would be about the max, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then he's into his mid-30s. You're going to get one more shot at this, Baker. This is like maybe 2 more contracts, but probably this one. I think Baker knows the value of finding your fit, being in a place where you want to be and where you're wanted.
Right.
Because he has experienced rejection in 3 other NFL teams within the span of 1 year.
Right.
So there is value in that. And then for laymen like Tim and JP and myself. And Tim, I apologize. You do look like a multimillionaire, so I don't want to insult you. Okay.
I mean, look at this.
Well, yeah, you got the big screen TV back there. I mean, that you get this is a
32
man
inches
cave in
still
your
a big
mansion.
screen?
Yeah. But it's depth perception. It looks huge from here.
Right.
But the thing is
actually
this.
right behind me. That's how small it is.
Okay. All right. So it's only a 75-inch. Okay. I'll give you that. But the thing is this, when you look at $30 million over, let's say 2 years are guaranteed. Let's say you sign a 3 or 4 year deal, 2 years are guaranteed. That's $60 million, right? That should be enough for most people to live.
You should be okay with that.
Okay.
Not for Stu Sternberg. He would be uncomfortable.
True, of course.
Very uncomfortable.
But for anybody but Stu, you're talking $60 million. So forget the 13 that you got to make up, the 12 that you lost the investment scheme. Okay, this is your recovery. Boom, $60 million. Even if you blew every penny that you had prior, you got $60 million guaranteed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
and you're
you want to chase that extra 32,
right?
Or are you comfortable with the 60? And
I agree.
And you get to enjoy life being in a place where you want to be, in a place that wants you.
Baby on the way, all that good stuff. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the combine coming up, the draft coming up. These are, I think, obviously free agency is going to dictate where you go in the draft. Obviously, is going to be a big part of it. Where are you? You guys went to the Senior Bowl. You saw a lot of those prospects. The Bucs have typically drafted, at least one from the Super Bowl, sometimes two in Senior Bowl.
Yeah.
So 2 and 3. Where are you at right now with as far as draft projections and the mock draft you guys are doing?
Yeah, I mean, our latest mock draft, we had a guy that was supposed to be at the Senior Bowl but opted out because of injuries. That's Graham Barton from Duke, the left tackle, who would kick inside. You know him well from your ACC days against Florida State. He's
dominant.
He's very similar to Ali Marpet, right? But played at Duke rather than Hobart College. He's a guy that will kick inside because he has shorter than ideal arms. Yeah, they tried that with Luke Gedeke, but Luke was a right tackle. This guy is even more athletic coming from the left tackle. They've had success doing that. Cody Mauch was a left tackle at North Dakota State. Ali Marpet was a left tackle at Hobart College. Alex Kappa was a left tackle at Humboldt State. They've all made a very successful transition inside. And I think that Graham Barton's more talented coming in than Kappa and Mauch are. So I think that could be, if not wide receiver or edge rusher, you're looking interior offensive line, possibly right there.
Could he play center, you think?
He can also play center. Yes. Matter of fact, he was supposed to play a good deal of center at the Senior Bowl, but again, didn't end up making the trip to Mobile. But he did start. He had 5 starts at center his freshman year. And then he moved to left tackle. So he's comfortable doing that. He's got film tape doing that. And so I think interior offensive line, you're looking at edge rusher for sure. This is not a great edge rusher draft class. There are some guys I like, but it's not terribly deep with guys that are bona fide, edge rushers that are going to come in. I think if Yaya Diaby was in this year's class, he's probably a 2nd-round pick. And
so that's more of a free agency target, you think? I heard you guys talking on your podcast about a few guys that are out there. I forget their names, so you can probably bring them up here.
Yeah, Andrew Van Ginkel from Miami would be a really good value signing. Josh Uche from the New England Patriots, who was kind of a fringe first-round guy coming out of Michigan a couple years ago, but tore his Achilles during his pre-combine workouts and then fell in the draft. So I think that those are 2 names. Uche's had an 11-sack season, but then kind of fell back a little bit this year. Van Ginkel can play linebacker. He can also play outside linebacker. I think he had 21 pass breakups. Todd Bowles likes to drop his outside linebackers in coverage. We've seen JPP have a couple of interceptions during his Pro Bowl year. Shaq Barrett has had a couple memorable interceptions doing the same thing. This is a guy that he had a pick 6. He picked off a screen pass against Washington last year. He gets his hands up. He had 6.5 sacks filling in for Jalen Phillips at Miami. And he probably can be had for one of those 1-year prove-it deals that they gave Shaq Barrett. 1 year, $5 million. That would probably get Van Ginkel here. I think the Dolphins value him, but they have other pressing needs in free agency. And Phillips is going to be coming back from that injury. And Uche, I think it's the changing of the guard up there. I think they probably want some new blood there. He's still a very young pass rusher. I think he's a couple years younger than Van Ginkel, who'll be 29 this year. So those are a couple of names to watch because they have to re-sign their Fab Five. We're talking Evans, Mayfield, Winfield, Levante David, and Chase McLaughlin. They're not going to have a whole bunch of cap money left over, so don't expect them to re-sign those five and then be in the Brian Burns market. Or the Josh Allen or Bryce Huff market. That's not going to happen. But a value signing, a one-year prove-it deal like they've done successfully with Baker Mayfield, with Shaq Barrett, that's probably more what you're going to see. I would also think that ideally you want an upgrade over Robert Hainsey at center, and then you need a new left guard, right? Aaron Stinney's not going to get the job done, and you're not going to re-sign Matt Filer. But I don't know if this team wants 3 interior offensive linemen being rookie, second-year player.
Yeah.
I think they're fine with one rookie, whether it's center, whether it's guard. But then the other
what
guy,
about the mysterious Nick Leverett, who played so well when he came in last year, 2 years ago?
He played okay, but
didn't play a snap, hardly any this year at all.
Didn't have a great preseason, and they saw him in training camp, and Stinney was a little bit better, And so that's just how it goes sometimes. And I think Aaron Brewer is a name to keep in mind from Tennessee. He was a center. He can also play guard. Also, if you're looking for some connections, I think his name is Connor. I just wrote about him and I forgot. But he played for the Rams, and he is their starting center. Let me pull him up here.
Of course, we got plenty of Rams connections now with
exactly.
Cohen and the offensive line coach.
Right. So, and that player's name is, I don't study the Rams that much. So, Coleman Shelton. So he was the starting center for the Rams, 6'4", 299. He's bigger than Brewer. Brewer's more like a Shaq Mason size, 6'1", about 290. Very athletic, very strong, powerfully built, kind of like a fire plug. If you're looking for a bigger body, Connor Shelton's that guy, 6'4", 299. And he's got the familiarity in the Liam Cohen system, having played with the Rams, and he can also play guard as well. So either one of those guys, Brewer or Connor, you can get a guy, or not Connor, Coleman Shelton or Brewer. Either one of those guys can play center or can play guard. So maybe you sign one of those players, and then you see in the draft, let's go grab a center, or let's go grab a guard, and then whatever free agent you signed, you move him accordingly to wherever the rookie will play opposite.
Hey, real quick, they've added some assistant coaches, Liam Cohen, obviously, and they added Carberry as the offensive line coach, and they just added McClendon, right?
Yeah, I'm excited about wide receivers.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about him. I heard you guys talking that some people have talked about him as a really kind of upbeat guy, maybe, charismatic, maybe a future head coach in this league. It's got his father played famously at Georgia, I believe it was.
Willie McClendon.
Yeah. So tell me about him.
He was kind of like the big dog at Georgia, pun intended, setting some Georgia records until Herschel Walker came along.
Yeah, he was
obliterated him.
Yeah.
But yeah, Brian McClendon reminds me a little bit of like a PJ Fleck.
I was going to mention that name.
Yeah, Mike Tomlin, where he's young, he's just turned 40. Big-time recruiter for Georgia, wide receivers coach. He coached Deebo Samuel at South Carolina. Also recruited and coached for 1 year Xavier Leggett, who was the South Carolina Gamecock breakout receiver this year for them, probably a second-round pick. He was at Oregon for a couple of years. Troy Franklin, the wide receiver from Oregon, that could be a connection there. But even before he became a wide receivers coach, so of course you're thinking Ladd McConkey, right, the current Georgia Bulldogs. But even before that, he was a running backs coach at Georgia. Isaiah Crowell, Todd Gurley, Nick Chubb, Sony Michel, those were all his proteges. So he's done a really good job of developing talent and recruiting it. So obviously he's got some connections now. So you add him and Liam Cohen into the draft mix. And man, they can sit there and give some really good intel to the Bucs scouts and front office about not only did we know these players intimately because we recruited them or coached them at these various stops, whether it's Kentucky, South Carolina, Oregon, Georgia, but we also played against these guys. Man, this cornerback gave us problems.
Right.
Against my receivers. For Liam Cohen, he's like, yeah, that pass rusher gave us problems when I was an offensive coordinator at Kentucky. So just helps you out a little bit in terms of some of that. And it's not even like the positions that they coached, right? You got Cedric Van Pran, who's the center at Georgia. He could, you could get some intel from him straight from Brian McClendon. The running backs, Kendall Milton, who I love, Dejon Edwards, the other running back at Georgia. So there's a litany of ways that some of these new coaches can help the Buccaneers when it comes to the draft.
All right, my friend. Great stuff as always. Tell us what's coming up on Pewter Report this week. What you guys got going on?
It's a Tuesday, so we have our podcast at 4 o'clock on Pewter Report TV. That's our YouTube home for our Pewter Report podcast. You can catch them live Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern. Or you can always watch the archived version on Pewter Report TV. So we encourage you to subscribe. It's free. Just go to YouTube and type in Pewter Report TV. That's our channel. Next week, we're going to be going to the Combine on Monday. So no Monday podcast, but we will have podcasts live from Indy, probably in prime time.
Nice.
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday after our Combine coverage. So check that out. You can also follow us on pewterreport.com, the mothership, and on social media on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Pewter Report.
Indianapolis, so beautiful this time of year. So beautiful this time of year.
Scott, I may be at the Combine. If I do, I'll let you know.
Please, yes, absolutely. Yeah.
You guys can go over to St. Elmo's and have a beer.
Oh,
yeah.
And maybe
for sure.
$100 steak.
Absolutely.
If you
we can try the shrimp cocktail too.
So good.
It's spicy.
So good. So good. I was there the night I was there. Peyton Manning was there. I was there for March Madness, and Peyton was there, and he was holding court. And he bought a round of shrimp cocktail for 150 people. Usually it's a drink. It's round of shrimp cocktail for the whole
It's
room.
always fun. We
like this on Peyton Manning.
It was Bailey Adams last year who we got with the shrimp cocktail.
Nice.
If you don't know, I'm gonna ruin it for everybody. But if you don't know, it's super ridiculous spicy, but it doesn't look like it is. And so when people, dip it in there and bite down to that shrimp,
You need your sinuses cleared out.
Oh yeah, your mouth is on fire. Thankfully for me, I'm allergic to shellfish, so I have the ultimate excuse not to participate. But I have seen many a Pewter reporter, literally catch on fire in front of me and almost combust because it's very, very hot, spicy.
It's good though. It's good. Horseradish spice is different. Like chili spice, I can't handle. But horseradish spice, wasabi spice doesn't bother me as much. Is that weird? But
No, it's not weird. I'm a mild child, so I mean, when I go to Taco Bell sometimes,
that's
no
chili
sauce,
spice.
I'm
chili
on fire.
spice. Yeah, I can't handle that at all. I'm mild all the way. Hot Frank's hot sauce, just a little bit of dab does me. That's
Can't
good.
do any of that.
Yeah. All right. Good for you.
Oh man, that's my favorite.
Ketchup is about as spicy as I get. My friend. That's about it. I can handle ketchup.
All right, Scotty. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yep,
Talk to you next week. All right. By the way, this is the message of the day coming in here. I have to go back when we were talking about your screen size. Lonnie says it's all about how you use it, Tim. 32 inches or 75. Who cares? There you go.
You know what? I'm the only one that matters when it comes to that.
It's not the size. It's how you dangle the carrot. Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. I got to get this one in too from Mr. Always Debbie Downer, James. Not always. I'm just effing with you. Don't go crazy. Says, I guess Liam Cohen is jumping for joy, moving his family across the country to coach Trask and a 26-year-old Michael Penix with 2 bad knees, throwing to Godwin and Trey Palmer. Oh, wow. Yeah. If they don't sign Baker and Evans, where are we at, kids? Where are we at? The rebuild commences for sure, no doubt. It's. I know you don't even want to think about that, and I don't think it comes to that. I think. As Scott mentioned, these relationships they built are important. The culture they built here in Tampa, people want to play here. They want to stay here. And that's part of it. And that's why these guys will, if they do hit the open market, don't lose your mind because there's news on Justin Fields, which takes away leverage from Baker Mayfield. So we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side. We'll give you that news. And I have another tidbit on the Rays. Eric Neander was on Sirius XM, and I was listening to him. He said something really, really interesting. vis-a-vis Stu Sternberg. So we'll give you that as well when we come back. We're brought to you by Italiano Insurance. Get that insurance checkup, folks. It can save you literally thousands of dollars on your business insurance, on your homeowner's insurance, on your auto insurance, any insurance product you have. Italiano will manage it for you. They'll get you the lowest prices, and whatever issues you have, they've helped me out so many different times on issues I've had with my auto insurance. And they deal with it. You don't. That's the beauty of it, folks. You got more things to do in your day than waiting on hold for 55 minutes, right? Don't do it. Let Italiano Insurance handle it. That's what they do. Great customer service. 813-877-7799. Tell them JP sent you. Back in 3. Stay with us.
This is The Strike. 102.5 WHPT, HD2 Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799. Start the new year with a new diamond from the Gold and Diamond Source. It's still engagement season. Where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? Of course, I just got mine there. I'm engaged. You should do the same thing. Let's go. Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country. A literal jewelry superstore with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. And if you have a loved one or a special person in your life who has a birthday this month, maybe you have an anniversary coming up, you can get 15% off the January birthstone, which is garnet, as in garnet and gold for all your Seminoles. Celebrate that mythical national championship. And it's the Gold and Diamond Source's 40th anniversary. For the past 40 years, they have taken pride in offering only natural diamonds formed over billions of years from the Earth's incredible forces. And gold prices are at an all-time high. Now's your chance to turn your jewelry box into a cash machine. It's the perfect time to trade in your broken or unworn pieces for something new and stunning. It's the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here for our second hour. TJ Reeves going to join us around 11:40, 11:45. We'll talk some more Buccaneers, and he sat right next to me for the USF game the other day on Sunday, the big win over FAU. Did you watch any of that, IndyCar, Tim?
I absolutely did, yeah. Being on, national TV,
yeah,
I was able to do that. So it was
how did it look? Looked like a great atmosphere?
Looked really good, man. That, you guys were sort of touting that arena and the atmosphere inside the arena last week when we were talking about the game. And I mean, it just looked like a fun place to be. You know, a really good. That's what college basketball is about, man. That's why I love college basketball.
Yes, and it's been a while since I've been to a game, and I'm definitely going to go back. I love the atmosphere. It's just, and that team is good, fun to watch. You don't like going to college or any sporting event when the teams just aren't good.
Yeah.
But college games are a little bit better, just a little bit more. It's a fun atmosphere to be in. But man, when you got two teams like that, and both of those teams are tournament teams, like there's no question. Dusty May was asked that, and he's like, "Yeah, these this is a tough team to play against on many levels." His team is no doubt. He's got 14 guys back from a Final Four team. Yeah, they're a tournament team. So whoever, they could probably meet in the title game in the AAC tournament title game, and whoever loses that game should be in the tournament. They should get at least two teams, if not three. That league is good this year. It really is. And just watching USF, they're good. They're a good basketball team, man. They've got all the ingredients to. I'm not saying they're winning the national championship. They're not a top 10 team, but FAU made it to the Final Four. Anything can happen. I think they're a little small up front. Other than that, if they had a big guy last year, Chua was an African name that I don't pronounce very well. He's playing at Georgia now. He moved on to Georgia. He was a beast inside. If they could have held on to him, I think they could be a Final Four team because they got a little exposed by the big Russian kid at FAU. He's really, really good. That kid is very athletic. He's really, really good. I think he's got a future in the NBA. He can run the floor. He's got a lot of different low post moves, which you don't see anymore. He can shoot the ball from the free throw line. Good player, really good player. But the Bulls handled him okay. He got his, but in the moments when they needed to keep him off the scoreboard, they did.
Yeah.
Walker did a nice job on him for the most part down the stretch. So, they've got good perimeter shooting. They got guys that can isolate and go one-on-one late in the game. Selton Miguel he's legit. He is legit 6'8", 6'7", 230, 40 pounds. And when he takes it to the hole, he makes space. He's tough to guard. Chris Youngblood, who we had on the show on Friday, what a great young man.
He had a good game. Yeah.
He had a great game. And he's 23 points, 11 of 12 from the free throw line. There was 3 for 3 from beyond the arc and big threes, really timely threes. And he's so composed, such a composed player. When they were FAU was making their run, you saw no panic in this team, even though they cut it from 25-1. You saw no panic. You kind of felt like USF was still going to win the game, and that's rare for a team that's not been in this position. Now, some of these players have. Selton played in the Big 12 in some big games, and the Kennesaw State kids were in the tournament last year, so they played in some big time atmospheres, and so these and Kobe Knox is a heck of a young player. They've got some pieces on this team. I think they're going to make the tournament, and maybe they get to the Sweet 16. I don't think it's one of those teams. If you're like the 6th team from the ACC to get in the tournament, you're like a 10-11 seed. You don't want to play USF. You want no part of that because they're going to play their ass off and they're going to play together, and they're going to be a tough out. So that was a fun atmosphere. It was, and I look forward to going back. They got.
I'm gonna have to go get me a USF hat. I think start representing USF here in DFW.
All right, we'll send you one. I got a bunch of them. I'll send you one for sure.
That'd be great. Yeah, I love the colors, man. The colors are great.
Yeah, the colors. Although they wore the off green this week, that neon green.
Yeah.
That is really sharp. Really sharp. It's kind of a different color, and it's very differentiating for them. I tell you what, if you're a recruit, if you're one of those guys that's in the transfer portal, because the thing that USF has been missing, I think, is an atmosphere. They've been missing, that home court atmosphere that these kids love to play in. When there's 2,000 or 3,000 fans in there, you're not getting any kids out of the portal to come, not any quality kids.
Right.
If you can continue to keep that atmosphere, and frankly, we ought to support it, locally here, just from a community. If you like basketball, you like college basketball, pro basketball, if you're a basketball fan, tickets are cheap. It's a very intimate environment. It's easy to get to, easy to park, easy to get in. Why not? why not support this program?
Yeah, speaking of basketball, I'm kind of the uniform czar around here. Like I critique uniforms and logos and colors like that.
Right.
It's kind of what I'm known for around here. We had a really bad look here in DFW over the weekend as our hometown Southern Methodist University Mustangs.
Oh yeah, they're coming to town Sunday.
We're hosting Memphis.
Okay,
all right,
big game.
Memphis and SMU have very similar blue colors, like almost identical blue colors.
Yeah.
So they're on the red and blue Mustang court. Memphis was wearing their all blue, but they had black numbers and black names against that super deep dark blue. From the wide angle TV shot, they just like they're wearing blank blue, like with nothing on them because you couldn't see the black. But then, and again, I'm a fan of one team wears white, another team wears their color. Right. I absolutely despise when you've got two teams, whether it's freaking football, softball, baseball, whatever, and they're both wearing colors. The Mustangs were wearing their deep, dark red. And then you had Memphis wearing those deep, dark blues.
Yeah.
And it was
like
not
the color
easy on
rush
the eyes.
throw up. Yeah.
It was not easy on the eyes. It was a bad – I don't know if that was planned. I know, okay, that's kind of a new thing. The NBA's done it here recently where both teams will wear their traditional colors rather than one team wearing white or a lighter color, whatever. I don't like it. I hate it. It's a bad look.
And by the way, crisp white uniforms with your color accents they're fantastic. They're
Nothing
classic.
better.
They are so good. I mean, that to me, those are like – those pop. Those pop when you have the nice white ones, and USF's got really, really cool white ones. So yeah, I couldn't
watch it, man. I'm a supporter of SMU. I almost went to SMU. But I could not freaking.
Everybody's looking for that, that transcendent, that's going to go viral, looking for that uniform. And sometimes it looks good on paper. Like the design looks good on paper and in an HD graphic picture. But when you put it in practice on a court, and now we're getting all these colored courts. I mean, sometimes we get, you get these colored courts that match the uniforms of the team that's playing on. And you're like, I can't even see the freaking players. What are we doing here? It
was not a good look.
Lonnie Wilkins says, remember the MLB Players Weekend from whether it was white on white versus black on black? Yeah, that doesn't work. Does not work.
Does not translate. No,
does not translate. Speaking of hoops, we didn't get a chance to hit this yesterday, but the NBA All-Star game over the weekend, 211 points. Even the commissioner was like, "Well, you scored more points than the other team. Congratulations." Can I just? And this is how bad it's gotten. This is how bad it's gotten, Tim. Like, think back 20 years, 30 years ago, and I know we're going to be the old men talking on radio here, but it's like you didn't show up and not play. Like you had pride. When Magic Johnson, I remember going to the 91 All-Star game in Orlando when after Magic had come out in
92, I think it was
92, and this was I was thinking the last game he was going to play, and he hits that deep three. Remember that play? That was unbelievable. But those guys had pride, and they would play against. They took pride in the East versus West, and they would play. Is it so hard? Is it so hard as a professional basketball player to go to an all-star game and play competitive basketball? It's basketball, but you're too cool for school to play any defense whatsoever. Do you have to get paid $5 million a game to give me an effort? I mean, when you play in the summer against some of your guys in the gym, aren't you playing competitively? Don't you have pride in like, oh, I'm not going to let that guy score on me? I mean, I've seen these games go down in the off season. They get chippy. Like, I've seen these, so, hey, you hear like, oh, this is where they run. You go and you watch it, and you're running on the other. Over the years, I've watched, and the guys, they play hard. They have pride. But in an NBA All-Star game, you can't have any pride. When did it get so? To me, this is nothing but a big boom, a finger in your face to all the fans. Like, we're all-stars, but we're not going to play any defense. Nah, I'm not breaking a sweat here today. I'm not breaking a sweat here today. I mean, that's such a finger to the fans, and it's become accepted. It's become accepted that I'm just not going to play. I'm just going to go out here and shoot some threes. That's so disrespectful to the fans.
Yeah, and
it's a game, and you can't work up a sweat for me. I mean, those fans are probably paying what, $1,000 a ticket to go to this All-Star game.
Yeah.
You can't even be bothered to work up a sweat. I mean, the NFL Pro Bowl is pretty similar, but again, it's like, at least in that game when they were tackling, you'd say, okay, you could get hurt. This is freaking basketball. Oh, but JP, you could still get hurt. Come on, it's basketball. Come on. You know, you could get hurt walking down the street as much as you could get hurt playing basketball. So come on. This is such a middle finger to the fans. And nobody cares. Nobody, it's just the All-Star game. You know what? I care. Well, you can't go out there and even in the fourth quarter, get in the defensive stance. And let's see LeBron go one-on-one with Kevin Durant. Let's see.
That's what it's supposed to be about, is watching the greats go up against the greats. You've got great defensive players. You've got great offensive players. But here's the problem. Here's what I think the problem is. Number one, the NBA in and of itself is a broken product.
Yes,
it's a terrible product. It's unwatchable in my opinion. Yes, we have our local team here in Dallas, and they're good. Maybe one of the greatest generational players of all on our team. I don't even care.
Yeah.
I don't watch it. I don't watch the Mavericks.
Yeah.
I haven't since probably they won the title in 2011. But here's the problem is the culture in the NBA has changed so much now since the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, when you and I started watching it. And even for a lesser degree into the early aughts, now you've got this generation of player, and we talk about culture all the time on this show. They're just that younger generation that was raised differently. They're not, for the most part, they don't have competitive spirit built into them.
They're not uber competitive. No,
they don't have that instilled in them like you did with Jordan or Magic or, Isaiah Thomas. All these guys that played back then, that's how they were raised.
Bro. For a regular
All-Star game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And even in an exhibition game, they would do that. They would play hard in the preseason when they were doing that. But now you just have these players who just think and they're all buddies. That's another thing now.
Exactly.
They're all freaking buddies. They're all best friends. You didn't have that back in the day. Yeah. You had rivalries. You had Bird versus Bird. And by the way, Larry Bird and Magic Johnson did not like each other when they first started playing.
That's
they
right.
really, to this day, still kind of don't, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And that's okay. But now freaking everybody's best friends. They all hold hands and go pray. Not that there's anything wrong with praying when you go on the court, but it's just because teams are interchangeable now. There's no devotion to your team. There's no devotion to your teammates. It's like, I'm going to go over here and get all the money, Kevin Durant. It's just, man, it's miserable. It's a bad product. And the NBA All-Star game, it's bad when Stephen A. Smith starts going off on it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so that's how bad it is.
I mean, it's seriously, we've gotten to the point where people are okay with it. Oh, it's just the All-Star game. No, it's basketball. You get paid $60, $70 million a year to play freaking basketball. And you can't give me an effort? You're talking, we got to come up with rules to get guys to play games.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, are you serious? What a joke. What an absolute joke. So I don't watch the NBA. I went to this Magic game the other night. And I was thinking about that. I was like, it was 30 years ago. I was watching Magic in the All-Star. It wasn't in that building, but and I was like, that All-Star game was like competitive. Like people were trying to, it wasn't, I'm not talking about it was NBA Finals competitive, but it was, it was somewhat. Right. They had some pride. This is a joke. This is an absolute joke. And even watching the regular season game. I'm sitting there with my 11 and under team, and I'm like, watch how they do this, watch how they do that. And I see some guy come down and just, jack up a logo 3. And I'm like, don't do that. Right. That's not how you play basketball.
Right.
Is it fun to see, Damian Lillard rise up from half court in a jump shot form and just swish the ball? Yeah, that's interesting. It's for the 3-point contest. It's not for the game. I'm just whatever. I yearn for the days when guys actually cared what the fans thought and put the fans first, because nobody does anybody ask the players that after the game? You go out there and give that half-ass effort. What is that saying to a fan that paid $1,000 a ticket to go to that game, or the fans that took 4 hours out of their day to watch it on TV, and you guys can't even break a sweat? Does anybody ask that question? If I ever get into an NBA press conference, I'll ask that question. I'll ask it.
Yeah. Do you feel bad do
you feel bad that you're stealing money?
Yeah.
Whatever.
It's ridiculous.
All right. Speaking of stealing money, So I was listening to Eric Neander on XM radio the other day. I wish I could remember the host's name, and I apologize. But he asked it was a really interesting question. He said, I'm looking at your roster, man, and I'm just you got a lot of good young players, and I'm saying, go out and sign JD Martinez. Like, go out. Like, he would look so good in the middle of your lineup, so a guy in your clubhouse that has some gravitas. And, please sign JD Martinez. I want to see the Rays sign JD Martinez. This would be a great, and he went on and on about how he'd be a great fit. You know what Neander said? It's very interesting. He goes, I'm the wrong one to talk to. I was like,
wow.
What? He goes, yeah, you're talking to the wrong guy. Who should we be talking to?
Wow.
You're the vice president of baseball operations. Don't you
Yeah.
make the player personnel choices? Don't you have, if you have to, as you told us a few months ago, you could go to $120, $130 million in payroll. Didn't you say that? So who do we have to talk to? Would that be your owner, Stu Sternberg, who's uncomfortable with a $90 million payroll? I think that's what he was talking about. Who else could he be talking about? And he said it. I'm going to try to get the audio, but he said it in such a way like he was like disgusted, like almost like, you don't think if I could, I'd sign JD Martinez? Of course I would sign him if I could, if I was allowed to.
Yeah,
of course I would. You don't think, and I've said this forever, you don't think Eric Neander would love to have $150 million payroll? You think he loves shopping at Walmart? You think people love to shop? If you can shop at Neiman Marcus, if you had that money, would you rather shop at Walmart? I don't think so.
No, Walmart's the devil.
Just because of the smell.
And y'all got to deal with Florida Walmarts. I think that's even
I go to
worse.
Walmart all the time.
Me too.
I'm
one across the street.
Guy. Yeah, I have no problem going to Walmart.
I just hate it. I just hate it.
But I'd rather go to, I'd actually not rather go to Neiman Marcus, to be quite honest with you. But maybe a nicer store would be fine. Maybe some other stores we can name. But because I don't want to mix with those people either. They're evil.
Yeah.
So yeah. But the point is, you're a general manager. Of course you would like to sign JD Martinez. You don't think this would be a better baseball team with Blake Snell in the rotation? Of course it would. Okay, you people out there are like, oh, I don't want to sign him. That's too much money. It's not your money, for God's sakes. But your owner's money, who is uncomfortable with a $90 million payroll. Oh, poor Stu. I think I'm going to set up the GoFundMe just for fun. Just for fun.
Stu? For Stu?
Just for fun. Put on there. This is a GoFundMe for you. Stu Sternberg is uncomfortable with his $90 million payroll. So we need to help him out. And please give whatever, $5, $10. Whatever.
Oh my God, that would be funny.
Can you do that? Or will they?
I don't know. Do they have to approve it, or can you just do it for anything? I mean, I don't know how the GoFundMe works.
But forget it.
We could go off on the really bad direction here.
All right. So, by the way, so before we hit the break, are you going to give us the story?
Yeah. You want it now?
Yeah.
I can do it here in a couple of minutes.
With some writer's embellishment, if it's.
Yeah. So Sunday night, kind of a last minute deal, late, went and met the lovely and talented Britt, who's, we'll just leave it at that.
Okay. All right.
And her and I always have a good time.
What is she talented at, Tim? Where do her talents lie?
Lots of stuff, JP. And for those of you that don't follow me on TikTok, go follow me on TikTok at IndyCar Tim. Just search for IndyCar Tim on TikTok, and you will see lots of videos between Tim and Britt.
Okay.
When we go out, we just have a good time. So anyway, we went out to our local watering hole down the street here in Plano and partook in some cocktails. Right, had a really nice time like we always do.
Yeah.
Tim used to drink Crown quite a bit.
Okay.
But the older Tim got,
third person. Wow,
yeah, the older Tim got, he couldn't handle his Crown. It made him mean. And for some reason, Sunday, old Tim decided to visit young Tim and handle up on some Crown.
Oh.
And so, when I'm with Britt, things are on the just verge of going south really quick because she is so beautiful and so gorgeous. Guys are intimidated, right? Like, holy crap. And I see somebody looking at her, and I mean, she's her own person. She can do whatever she wants. But drunk Tim starts to get offended, right? So we were on the verge of that already on Sunday. Just the wrong dude walks in the bar, gives the wrong look. And I'm like, let's go.
That's all it took. He didn't even have to say anything. He just gave it a look.
Sometimes. However, that is not what happened Sunday. Sunday, I avoided the fight. This is not the result of a fight.
Oh, wow. I thought that's where we were going here. Yeah.
I know. I would like, that's writer's embellishment, right? I'm leading this, going with the story here. So I would love to say, hey, you should see the other guy. Unfortunately, the other guy in this case is the nightstand next to my bed.
Oh.
Because
once again,
the Crown, and Tim realizes why he doesn't drink Crown. Several hours later, I'm literally at home, safe. Didn't fight anybody. I was kind of proud of myself. Britt and I were texting each other. She's like, really proud of you for not killing somebody tonight. I know you wanted to. And I was like, yeah, I know I'm great.
Growing up, yeah.
Literally put the phone down, fall asleep, wake up in a pool of blood at 4 a.m, Monday morning, late Sunday night, next to my bed, as I have rolled off the bed in my sleep in a Crown Royal induced coma. And I didn't even wake up when I fell and did all of this.
How do you not wake up if you concuss yourself?
Crown, I guess. Dude, so literally pool of blood.
How many bottles did you have?
Pool of vomit. And so, dude, the vomit and blood mixture.
Oh.
There's still a stain on the carpet. I'm still trying to work it out.
Wow. This is good.
Yeah,
that's fantastic because once, I have gone, away from the evil alcohol because, there have been many moments in my life that I regret because of alcohol.
It's a great song, by the way.
One of the greatest songs ever, by the way. Some of the greatest lyrics ever. Yep. Teaching white men to dance.
Yep.
And so I said, I don't need this anymore. I really don't need this in my life. And it's like, as Ashley loves to say, you look so much better than when I first met you. Your face is so much less puffy. Your eyes are less puffy. The bags under your eyes are not there anymore. It's like they were. I mean, my nose,
like these right here.
Like everything. She's like, you slim down, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, it's nice. I don't wake up with hangovers anymore. I rarely partake into the alcohol.
And when I do, I drink beer. I'm a big Miller Lite drinker. That's my drink. I love Fireball shots. I love Tuwaka shots. I love Rumpel shots, and I love Goldschlager shots.
It's
a liqueur. It's a liqueur, flavored liqueur. I don't know. I can't tell you what the flavor is, but it's usually chilled. It's really good. I do all the shots, but I usually drink beer or just like a Tito's vodka and Sprite or soda or whatever. That's kind of all I do.
Nathan,
so the Crown for me was a deviation. So
I hate to even ask this, but Nathan says, Tim, have you had the Blackberry Crown Royal yet?
I've done a shot. I've done a couple of shots of it. It's not bad. I'm not a Blackberry fan, but
okay,
it's not bad. It's Crown, so I tried it. I mean, there's vanilla Crown now. I will tell you a drink if you think you're a man and you only like manly drinks.
Yeah,
go try you a Crown Vanilla and Cranberry. Crown Vanilla with cranberry juice. That is a delicious concoction that I would
never have thought that.
Me neither. Some bartender made it for me one. Actually, she made it by accident for somebody because they ordered a regular Crown and cranberry. So she, I knew her. So she's like, "Hey, this is a mistake. Do you want it?" I'm like, "Sure." What is it? And she told me, and I was like, "Oh my God, it was gone. It was so good."
Wow. Huh.
Yeah. Vanilla Crown.
Not a big Crown drinker, so I probably won't try that. But
well, just know that it's good.
Okay, I'll buy it for somebody else.
Yeah.
All right. Nathan Elliott loves it. Yeah, he's a huge fan. There we go.
Nice.
All right. Quick break. When we come back, TJ Reeves is going to join us. We're going to talk some college hoops, a little Buccaneers as well. And we'll get into some other shenanigans as well. We're brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. It's always a great time to make up for that screw up on Valentine's Day. He's still drinking there. Okay. If you screwed up on Valentine's Day, get to the Gold and Diamond Source, and they will make everything right. They'll make everything right. Bring your credit card. They'll make everything right. You're still in the doghouse. You can't get out. Obviously, they have the best selection. If you're thinking about getting engaged, no other place to go but the Gold and Diamond Source. 3 to 5 years, 0% financing, folks. That's a big deal. Don't just put it on your credit card, but you can do that. So lots of great things going on over there. If you need a watch or want to invest in a Rolex or one of those baller watches, great investment these days. Those are going up in value. Great selection at the Gold and Diamond Source. 3800 Almerton Road, always online at thegoldanddiamondsource.com. Back in 3 with TJ Reeves. Stay with us.
JP here for the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves. Call for a free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. We're local, we're trusted. The law firm brings over 80 years of combined legal experience focusing on clients in Tampa Bay, the state of Florida, and national class action cases. If you're injured, get that free case evaluation, no cost to you. The Jeeves Law Group's focus is on auto, truck, and motorcycle accidents, as well as class action and consumer protection law. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. You hear him on the show all the time. Great guy, big Gator fan, and great for the community. The Jeeves Law Group is a highly skilled team with years of experience that will apply their skills, expertise, and knowledge to assist individuals who have been in an accident with compensation for damages, lost wages, medical expenses, pain and suffering, and property damage. Get that free case evaluation, 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this it's Testosterone Tuesday. Brought to you by
Testosterone Tuesday.
Bay Area Modern Medical Center.
Following a concussion Monday.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. We're taking care of everything here. Brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. If your testosterone is not right, get it right, and make sure you do your self-injections on every Tuesday. Brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. I had a friend of mine that I sent over to the Bay Area Modern Medical Center, and gave him the whole kit to self-inject. And there's an extraction needle, which is thick, and then there's a injection needle, which
smaller one,
extraction, and you put on.
Yep.
Well, either he didn't listen. Well, he didn't listen during the application process, technique teaching, or he forgot or something. But anyway, he's like texting me. He's like, "Dude, I thought you said the injections didn't hurt." I'm like, they don't.
Did he use the 18 gauge extraction needle?
The harpoon.
Oh my Lord. Poor guy. No.
So I'm like, did you change the needle? He goes, what? So you got to take the extraction needle off, put the injection needle on. That's why you have two needles. So they told you that in the he goes, I just wasn't really paying attention. I'm like, well, that's why your that's what your ass feels like.
Poor dude.
It's like you just got harpooned. Yeah.
Because you did. Now you know how whales feel.
Not good.
Jeez.
So yes, don't make that mistake.
Look out for those Japanese fishing boats around your butt.
Yes. All right, I want to get to some of the comments from today that we have not got. Did we get everything else in there that I wanted to get in there?
You said you had some Justin Fields news.
Oh, yeah, Justin Fields news. Lonnie Wilkins gave us that a little bit earlier. Said Justin Fields has unfollowed the Bears on Instagram and followed some Falcons guys. This is the way it's done.
That's how they do it now.
We don't call press conferences and answer questions and tell people what's really going on. We just we take it off our Instagram. And how silly is this world that we live in?
Don't get it, man.
Yeah. How about you put something out like looks like we'll be looking for a new team.
Yeah.
Because whatever something happened. No, we'll just unfollow and, passive aggressive is the way to go.
God, I guess it's our culture, JP.
Just be a man. Hey, looks like I'm moving on from the Bears. They're not going to offer me a contract. So looking for suitors out there instead of this, what are we doing? Is it that hard? Ooh, and then everybody else has to go, I think he's unfollowed. Like when you're does a social media person do that? They say, hey, unfollow, take all my Bear stuff off and start following some Falcons. Or do you do it yourself? How's that work?
Guys all have social media guys, right? Well, they have to.
Right. Some of them do. Well, actually, some of them should. Some of them should.
And then change the password. Like, don't let them have access.
Yeah. Yeah. So this means, I've said, we've been talking about this a lot. I think Justin Fields is a great fit for the Falcons. But how does it affect the Buccaneers? Well, there's been talk that the Falcons might go after Baker Mayfield.
Right.
So good. Get Justin Fields there. Now, the bad part is for Bucs fans, I think Justin Fields in a Falcons uniform is going to be a handful with Raheem Morris and who's their new Zach, what's his name? Their new
the OC.
Yeah. Coming over from the Rams. So basically you're putting Justin Fields in that Rams offense with Kyle Pitts and Drake London and Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. I mean,
Zach Robinson.
Yeah. They've got some players, dog. And the offensive line ain't too shabby. They got a top 10 defense. That team with a quarterback, and that doesn't have to be a great quarterback, but a guy that can run like that. And Justin played well in the second half of the season. I don't think he's as bad as he's looked in Chicago. I think that's more about the dumpster fire that is Chicago, the Bears organization, than it is Justin Fields. I'm not here to say that he's, the next Patrick Mahomes, but that seems like a pretty damn formidable offense right there.
Yeah, and I'm not a Justin Fields guy like at all. I think he was a terrible pick. Traditionally, guys out of Ohio State don't perform well.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, obviously, your exception was C.J. Stroud, lighting the league on fire in his rookie year. However, I would like to see what C.J. Stroud does in year two when they've got a whole year of tape on him and they know his tendencies. And I'm not saying he won't be good, just saying I don't expect him to have the season he had in his rookie year. But to me, Justin Fields, man, he's just been like every other Ohio State quarterback that came out.
Yeah, that
just have been not good, and I don't know. I just don't see the arm.
Oh, C.J. Stroud's not too bad.
That's what I just said, except for C.J. Stroud coming out this year. But I don't expect him now that the league has an entire year of tape on him and they know his tendencies and stuff. I don't think he'll have the same year he had next year. I think he'll be good still. Just I think that was an anomaly. But, I like C.J. Stroud.
So I know you're a big racing guy. You watched the end of the Daytona 500. I was trying to keep an eye on it while I was watching the Lightning meltdown last night.
So, what's funny is I know it got rained out on Sunday.
Right.
I saw the announcement that they would be running it on Monday. I looked for it for about 5 minutes on Monday, and I could never find it. So, no, I didn't even get to watch the freaking thing.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was watching it last night, and with about 12 to go, it was Alex Bowman pushed William Byron, and then sideswiped Kozlowski, who was running second. A 22-car crash ensued, but Byron got out relatively unscathed. It's like the guys that always cause the shenanigans somehow come out unscathed.
Right.
And,
they hurt the other people.
Yeah. So, and then so Byron got his first Daytona 500 victory and another crazy finish at the end. They had finished under yellow coming to the line, man. It was pretty great. It's like, 480 laps of shenanigans, and then they get down to business, and there's probably 2 or 3 wrecks in the final 20.
Right.
It's just weird. It's just weird racing. I don't know.
Well, that's what you get. I don't know how much of a NASCAR fan you are, how much you watch. It's what we call restrictor plate racing.
Yes, exactly.
In 1987, when Bill Elliott hit the 213 mile an hour mark, in his Buick, they were like, okay, we got to slow this down a little bit. So they put little restrictor plates on the carburetors to limit the amount of carburation that goes on inside. So now every car is exactly the same. It doesn't matter what you do. You're all going to be bunched together, and you're all going to be drafting and slipstreaming and crashing together. I've never been a fan of that. There's other ways to slow that down.
Yeah, I don't understand. Yeah, I don't exactly know how to fix it, but it just seems like a recipe for disaster. So I'm not a big fan of the restrictor plate racing either. No. I guess unless you want to just watch crashes all day.
And that's what a lot of people do, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Nathan Elliott says, the unfollow and new follow culture is a bunch of pansy ass cowards. Yep. I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I do. I mean, it's just passive aggressive stuff. But again, can't you just come out and say what you want to say?
No, but these guys aren't trained to do that. These young guys don't know. I've never had to say what I want to say my entire life. I just let someone else do it for me, or let my passive aggressiveness do it for me.
Yeah. Lonnie Wilkins says Yandy Diaz biceps are bigger than all the Rays prospects' arms combined. Randy's looking buff too. Someone get Junior Caminero some dumbbells. Baseball has never been a weightlifting sport, right? Never was until McGuire and Canseco came along, right?
That's right. Bonds.
A good friend of mine, the guy I played high school baseball with, Joe McEwen, he pitched in the bigs for a few years, and he was like in spring training when that whole thing was starting, when the steroids thing was starting. In fact, the White Sox shared a facility with the A's, and they shared a weight room. So it was like, the guys, baseball players would go in there, do some weightlifting, but nothing heavy. Like that wasn't something you did. Baseball players didn't do heavy lifting. So they went in there, and he's like, holy crap. And McGuire and Canseco are benching like 450, and they're throwing it up 450 and 500 pounds in a baseball, weight room. And everybody was like, what the hell's going on over there? Like, that ain't anything we've ever seen in a baseball locker room or weight room before. So yeah, everybody, as he says, everybody knew they were doing steroids.
Good
Everybody knew. It was no secret in any of those locker rooms what was going on.
I've got some steroid stories we can get into one day.
All right, yeah,
that's
good off-season fodder to be sure. But yeah, so yeah, and not to say that Yandy's on steroids. That's not what I was saying. But he is the modern day, and the thing about baseball is the game has never been more athletic, and I think that's fantastic. It's never been more athletic. The power and speed, size, and everything the athletes that we are seeing playing baseball right now are light years ahead of what we used to. I don't know if it's better baseball. But if you go back, I've got a picture behind me of the Big Red Machine. If you can,
love me the Big Red Machine, man. We've talked about that before.
I mean,
that was my team.
I look at George Foster, and I'm like, that dude is like 6'2", 130. Let's bring in TJ Reeves. Speaking of nostalgia, you remember those days, my friend?
I'm laughing along with you. Yeah, the different era there. You look at the
Dave
size.
Concepcion's $125.
Exactly. Tony Perez isn't weighing 200 pounds. Pete Rose.
No.
I mean, the Big Red Machine.
That's the only team you could watch in the 70s because they were so good. They're on baseball every week.
That's true.
On NBC, that's the only team I could watch.
Cannot fathom as we get ready to begin a baseball season. Good to be with you, boys. Timmy.
Good to see you.
JP. Good to be with you guys. People can't fathom with every game on TV everywhere that you used to have one game on TV every week. The game of the week on Saturday afternoon. That's all you got in the 70s, the 80s. A game.
Yep.
Joe Garagiola, Tony Kubek.
That's exactly right.
Oh, yeah. That was it.
And that's it. And now you might occasionally later in the summer get like a Monday night baseball game on ABC, but you're thinking about by and large one game on TV, and now you have 11 games like every day in the baseball.
I remember that brown cable box that had 3 rows on it. Remember this?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember my friend saying to me, Marty Engelman, still lives here in Tampa, local appraiser. I'd go over to his house, and he had this thing, this brown box. And he told me, he said, there's a baseball game on every night on WTBS.
True.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Atlanta Braves. And I was like,
well, the interesting thing,
there's a baseball game on?
As we get completely nostalgic, is you had WGN in the early days of cable that had a Cubs game on every day in the daytime.
Yes.
Because they had no lights on the stadium.
That's
They
right.
had to play in the day. So you had the
Wrigley
Cubs
didn't
in the
get lights
day.
till 88. Yeah, it was
That's
1988.
correct. You had the Cubs in the daytime in the early to mid 80s when we were kids. Timmy, you might be a little younger than us, but when JP and I were in elementary school, middle school, junior high, late 70s, early 80s, Cubs during the day, Braves at night.
Born in 71, so I was there.
So you were right there with me. Wow. So you were right there with us. That that was the fascinating thing.
These players, literally, they were all 165 pounds. You didn't have many guys over 200. Like the first big guy I can even remember might be Bob Horner. He was kind of a chubby guy.
Right.
I don't even think he was
Superstation, right, on TBS.
Yeah. I can't even remember. Frank Howard, of course, was a monster back in the 60s.
But then you go to the 90s and everybody's built like a defensive lineman or a middle linebacker. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Cecil Fielder was always kind of big, but him and Tony Gwynn looked more fat than they looked big.
Yeah, they were. I don't think they were doing roids. Those two guys
they were doing cheeseburgers is what they were doing.
But let me tell you what, was there a better guy to watch hit a baseball than Tony Gwynn? Like you could go watch him and you go like,
it's amazing.
I'd say watch you. He won't miss. He won't miss a ball. Like he won't swing and miss. Like the entire game, he'll have 5 at bats, maybe 6. He will not swing and miss, and he'll hit even the balls he fouls off.
He would go months,
Yeah.
entire 30-day periods without striking out.
Yes.
You couldn't strike him out.
Yeah,
for a month.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that's not why we brought you on. Great to see you, my friend.
Nostalgia. Great to see you.
Sit next to you. Speaking of nostalgia, at a basketball game that was filled to the rafters at USF on Sunday. That brought me back to some of the 90s, the games I used to watch at FSU and all around the ACC.
All right, so I had been planning to be there. I had been there on Wednesday night for the Tulsa game, slightly less atmosphere and crowd than what was there Sunday. And lo and behold, I didn't know you were coming. Suddenly, JP's right there beside me. I'm like, we're all good. We're going to have a great time. If I'm going to be nostalgic. And again, full disclosure, some know this. I was the Bulls radio voice for 10 seasons, 1997 to 07. I am here to testify to the JP Peterson show in the congregation. There was only one other occasion in my run and since then where that building was like that. And we keep going back to December of 01 against the Florida Gators, who had been in the national title game the year before with Mike Miller and company and lost to Mateen Cleaves and Michigan State. They rolled in without Mike Miller. He had gone to the NBA. The building was full, 10,400. Half of it was Gator fans. I was there, and the Gators controlled the whole game.
Yeah.
So now you fast forward 23 years later, and my man JP was there. I know you were there to help me while I'm sitting there going, this is really happening. The place is completely full. We're looking to our left, TV right in that end zone. JP, no exaggeration. There were 3,500 or more students in that end zone, TV right.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like 6 home games for a lot of era combined of student attendance.
Yeah.
So it was so neat, and I think they fed off that. You and I kept remarking about that. I think the players in the first half fed off of it once they did a couple of positive things. What an atmosphere. What a day. You're going to talk about that day. Who knows what happens with the end of this season, but you're going to talk about that day because it hasn't happened in so long with the crowd, and you won the game, JP.
Yeah, you held on to win the game. So take me just X's and O's. You've called a lot of college basketball games, my friend. You cover it deeply. And I see a team that has a lot of great qualities. This is not a fluke. This is a good basketball team. I'm not saying they're going to the Final Four, but they're tournament worthy, maybe Sweet 16 worthy. I think they're that balanced. They're a talented, well-composed, well-coached team. What do you think?
I think all those things are true. And you and I sat in the post-game press conference of Dusty May, the Florida Atlantic head coach. They were in the Final Four a year ago. They've had the target on them all year. They've been in the top 25. They beat Arizona on a neutral floor. They have been impressive for 2 full seasons with this same group. And he said that's a heck of a basketball team, talking about USF and talking about the atmosphere. And I know it's so neat how it's intertwined. He and Amir Abdur-Rahim, the Bulls coach, go back to being assistant coaches together on the Murray State staff. They've known each other for 15 years. So what a moment for USF, and then what a moment for the 2 coaches to be part of all that. But Dusty May, I asked him the question. I said, is this a 2-bid league? And he said, yeah, of course coaches are going to defend this. He said, yes, it should be. It should be a 2-bid league. And right now, all right, let's paint the rosiest picture possible as we sit here right now. They play Texas San Antonio tomorrow night, who they should beat in your state there, Timmy. They're coming that way. All right, they should beat them. They're bad. All right, now if you beat SMU, you are realistically near the finish line, dare we say, at a 17-1 regular season. You got to play a tough I know. You got to play a tough Charlotte team at Charlotte to get there. If rose-colored, green and gold-colored glasses, you get to 17-1 to win the conference outright, it is going to be very difficult for that committee to look at that team and say, we're just going to dismiss 17-1 and beating Memphis at Memphis.
Yeah.
They started their slide, beating Florida Atlantic, beating SMU, beating Charlotte late in the year at Charlotte for a sweep. 17-1. You would be in range for that with a couple of wins this week.
And if I'm not mistaken, though, they can even drop the game to Charlotte to win the regular season title, their first ever in program history.
That's correct.
Yeah.
They've never been 12-1, got a chance to be 13-1. And like you were making mention, I saw some of the show yesterday.
Yeah.
Where was my golf invite, by the way, yesterday? It was all the rain. No, never mind. I checked out some of the show. And as you mentioned there yesterday, right now at 12-1 with this, nobody had that. Nobody had that. And this team is playing with confidence. I loved Amir Abdur-Rahim after the game saying, hey, we're not, and I believe him, we're not going to talk about 12th win in a row. They've won 11 in a row right now. We're not talking about that. We're only caring about the next game. We don't care about being 12-1 in the conference. 17-1 in the last 18 games.
Yeah.
One loss since mid-December. Uno.
Yeah.
They are playing well, and it's fun to see. And a shout out here to my buddy Jim Lighthall and Joey Johnson on the call, but Jim especially. Yeah. Jim has gone through a myriad of bad coaches, lots of losing, mostly empty arena. This is what it's all about. I'm thrilled for him. I'm thrilled for a lot of different people. Michael Kelly. Michael Kelly, who you and I saw Sunday, the athletic director, who was under a tremendous amount of heat. How'd Michael Kelly do with the Alex Golish hire?
Pretty good.
How does it look with the Amir Abdur-Rahim hire?
Good. Second time's a charm.
Looks pretty good right now on both of those.
All right, so we got a couple minutes left. Give me some your thoughts on Bucs free agency. The Monday came and went without a deal.
Contrary to popular belief, I am not in text communication at the moment with Jason Light or the Glazers. We do joke on this show that I do not have coffee and donuts with them. That was a
regular thing.
I will say this. It's very quiet right now, and I think that's a good thing because I think you're going to see a couple of these deals get done quickly because the Bucs can obviously wheel and deal here before free agency begins with their own guys. And it may be a situation, this is common sense, we've both done this for a long time, where they've got deals, maybe 2 of them, a couple hypotheticals in front of Antoine Winfield. They got a deal or a couple hypotheticals right now in front of Baker Mayfield and a couple of them in front of Mike Evans. And you know what Jason Light and the staff are doing? Whoever says yes first gets the best of those deals at the moment. Anybody want to say yes? And then you get the best of those deals because right now, when free agency begins, you can't franchise tag or transition tag everybody. So it may be that they're playing that situation to each other, to all 3 of them, and saying, whoever says yes first, you're going to get maybe more guaranteed money up front, more signing bonus money, because that's what we have to give. And we got to know what you want to do. We'll see.
Yeah,
we will see.
I think Scott Reynolds was on earlier, and I think he made a good point that the relationships that they built with Baker and Mike Evans are important. Agents can sit there and posture all they want about getting big deals, and we hear they're far apart. I think when it comes down to it, those relationships mean a lot more to these guys because Mike and Baker are not. This is not AJ Brown we're talking about. These guys understand what their priorities are in life, and there's way more than money. And they want to get paid, and they're going to get paid. They're going to get paid, but they're not going to be making these decisions based on who has the highest offer.
I know Timmy's an Aggie. I know in the Houston area they're going crazy. Get him on the open market.
Yep.
I would be shocked if Mike Evans ends up on the open market. That's all I'm saying to close out the show. I don't think he ends up on the open market. And if you're Baker Mayfield, we keep saying this, JP. We'll repeat it again here. Why do you want to start over in a fifth place?
No.
That's a fifth different situation. So I think you make a great point on kind of camaraderie there. They talk to each other. It's not an accident that Liam Cohen has a connection to Baker Mayfield, and he's the offensive coordinator whose fingerprints are on that hire in part.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So let's just see here in the next 3 or 4 days. I'll close again with I like it when it's quiet like this. Because that could mean a couple of moves are about to be made here in the next 2 or 3 days.
And nobody's unfollowed anybody on Instagram like Justin Fields.
Do we have to keep up with that? I'll rely on you guys to keep up with that. I can't keep up with
the modern day passive aggressive.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Who's upset? Oh, he unfollowed me.
Well, you know what? Baker's not on social media. So
I hear that, you just prompted me. I hear that in the other room from these two, from the twins all the time. So-and-so unfollowed me. And
I hear that's how they break up now. They just unfollow you on social media, and that's how you figure it out.
So you're telling me amongst the twins, amongst themselves, they're going to text each other and say, I've broken up with you in the house here. I'm breaking up with you on social media, not in person, not the one-to-one communication.
Yeah, nobody talks anymore.
Listen. It's always great to be with you. I know you got to roll. Let's see what USF can do with Texas San Antonio midweek. SMU, Southern Methodist in here from your area, Timmy.
Sunday.
Yep. Right down the road.
Sunday in here on Sunday.
Back it again.
Let's see what happens. Always good to be with you on all subjects, my friend.
Thank you, brother. The great TJ Reeves right there. All right. That'll bring this incredibly wonderful, amazing show to a halt.
It was pretty good, wasn't it?
It really was. I mean, we had nightstand violence. We had I cried a couple of times today for Stu Sternberg being uncomfortable. It came from the heart. I really feel for him. That GoFundMe will be up soon. I'm literally going to try to do that.
I know you are. I can't wait to see it. I have no doubt.
I don't know, but can I get sanctioned for that? Who knows?
Who knows? What does that even mean?
Great job, Timmy. Appreciate it, my friend. Well, we'll be posting everything in case you missed anything. Always follow us on Apple and Spotify. Subscribe to the podcast. Also on YouTube as well. FanStream Sports, the JP Peterson Show. And on 102.5 HD2, tell all your friends. We're back on the radio. We had somebody in the comments today said, JP, we finally found you again. Thank you for finding us again. We are here. We bring it like we always have, folks. No corporate media here, my friends. It's just the real stuff. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.